if the whole thing is cancelled, it means there's going to be an awful lot of people who love the royal family, particularly love the Queen, and they will feel that they've missed out for no good reason.
Angela, are you not embarrassed? Are you not embarrassed? No. You should be embarrassed. I mean, you talk about there should be a warm feeling. You talk about there should be a warm feeling. For who and from whom? You talk about, well, there's a certain thing at a certain time and we should prioritize. You want to prioritize white supremacy over people's lives. Let me finish. This is the point. No, I'm going to finish because I let her finish, so I'm going to respond. Right. This is the point. The people in this country are talking about the experiences that they've had. They are the descendants of the enslaved. You don't tell them, oh, put aside your feeling and be warm and receive, and glorify the Queen. That is wrong, and that's what I'm saying. You should be embarrassed.
Ian wants to speak.
You see, when you use these terms like white supremacy about a royal tour, you completely lose the argument. Whatever value your other arguments are, it disappears when you go to the...
Of course you would say that.
You can choose her words.
No, I don't need to... Listen, I'm speaking the truth, which you would like to call being ambivalent. I'm speaking the truth. No, it's not just my truth. It's the truth of the Caribbean people. It's the truth of colonized African nations, because British Empire
this program is not about monologues, it's about discussion. Are you going to allow me to have a word?
I heard, and that's why I was
Pause, come on.
British media's toxic vendetta Dr. Shola exposes Angela Levin's malicious crusade against Harry and Meghan. In a deliciously poetic moment of media justice, Dr. Shola Mosleung masterfully dismantled the perpetually Sussex-obsessed royal expert Angela Levin, serving up a much-needed reality check against the relentless, poisonous narrative that has plagued Prince Harry and Meghan since their departure from the royal institution. The royal takedown Dr. Shola exposes Angela Levin's toxic rhetoric. In a riveting television showdown that sent shockwaves through the media landscape, Dr. Shola Adebayo fearlessly confronted Angela Levin, dismantling the so-called royal expert's venomous narrative about Prince Harry and Meghan with surgical precision. Levin, notorious for her Sussex deranged and poisonous commentary, found herself on the defensive as Dr. Shola methodically exposed the baseless and inflammatory nature of her continuous attacks on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This confrontation was more than just a mere television exchange. It was a powerful moment of accountability, highlighting the systemic bias and toxic journalism that has long plagued the British media's coverage of Harry and Meghan. The royal expert's vendetta, Angela Levin's unrelenting attack on Harry and Meghan. Angela Levin's toxic reporting on Prince Harry and Meghan represents a masterclass in journalistic malpractice, a sustained campaign of malevolence that exposes the ugly underbelly of British media's obsession with the Sussex couple. With a history of venomous commentary that stretches back years, Levin has consistently demonstrated a staggering lack of objectivity, transforming legitimate royal reporting into a personal crusade of hatred. Her analysis drips with barely concealed contempt, each word carefully crafted to undermine and diminish Harry and Meghan's credibility, painting them as perpetual villains in a narrative she has meticulously constructed. The depth of Levin's animosity goes beyond mere professional criticism, revealing a disturbing pattern of targeted harassment that seems motivated by a combination of racial prejudice, institutional bias, and a fundamental inability to accept the couple's right to self-determination and happiness outside the suffocating constraints of royal tradition. The Sussex saga defending personal freedom and happiness. In the relentless storm of media scrutiny and toxic commentary, Harry and Meghan stand as powerful symbols of personal autonomy and resilience, boldly asserting their right to craft a life defined by their own terms, not by the suffocating expectations of tabloid narratives or institutionalized royal constraints. Their journey represents more than a personal choice. It's a profound statement about individual agency, mental health, and the fundamental human right to pursue genuine happiness without being perpetually judged, dissected, or vilified by an opportunistic press machine that thrives on sensationalism and manufactured controversy. By choosing their path, whether in California through their philanthropic work or in their deeply personal storytelling, Harry and Meghan have demonstrated an extraordinary courage, the ability to prioritize their emotional well-being, protect their family, and unapologetically embrace a life of purpose and authenticity, far removed from the toxic echo chambers that once sought to define and diminish them. Exposing the toxic media vendetta, Dr. Shola's takedown of Angela Levin's malicious rhetoric. The British media landscape has long been contaminated by venomous commentators like Angela Levin, whose bilious and poisonous language represents the epitome of calculated media harassment against the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Dr. Shola's powerful confrontation serves as a crucial moment of reckoning, systematically dismantling Levin's relentless and baseless attacks that have sought to undermine Harry and Meghan's personal narrative and public standing. By directly challenging these toxic narratives, Dr. Shola not only exposes the insidious nature of such commentary, but also highlights the broader systemic issue of media personalities weaponizing their platforms to spread malicious, unfounded criticisms that are rooted more in personal prejudice than factual reporting. Her fearless approach sends a resounding message that such harmful rhetoric will no longer be tolerated, effectively calling out the dangerous pattern of media persecution that has long targeted public figures who refuse to conform to outdated, restrictive expectations. The powerful takedown. Dr. Shola's masterful confrontation with Angela Levin. Dr. Shola Moss Alderslade emerged as a formidable force of truth, systematically dismantling Angela Levin's toxic narrative with surgical precision, a moment of televisual brilliance that exposed the relentless, poisonous vendetta against Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. In a confrontation that was long overdue, Dr. Shola didn't just respond to Levin's baseless attacks. She obliterated them, slapping down the so-called royal expert with an authoritative and razor-sharp commentary that laid bare the malicious intent behind the continuous smear campaign. The significance of this public takedown cannot be overstated. It was a powerful repudiation of the British media's systematic harassment, a moment that sent a clear message that Harry and Meghan's critics will no longer be allowed to spread their venomous rhetoric unchallenged. Just as the Sussex couple continues to thrive despite the constant barrage of lies, Dr. Shola's intervention demonstrated that truth has the power to cut through the noise of manufactured controversy, exposing the hollow, hate-filled narratives that have become all too familiar in the landscape of royal reporting. The royal expert facade unmasking media manipulation. The unrelenting crusade against Prince Harry and Meghan continues with Angela Levin epitomizing the toxic narrative perpetuated by British media gatekeepers who masquerade as royal experts while harboring deeply personal vendettas. Her credibility crumbles under the weight of her transparently biased reporting, with growing scrutiny, revealing a systematic pattern of misrepresentation designed not to inform, but to incite drama and generate inflammatory headlines. Levin's so-called expertise appears less about royal insights and more about perpetuating a narrative of character assassination, raising serious questions about the ethical standards of royal commentators who seem more invested in sensationalism than factual reporting. As public awareness grows, there are increasing calls for genuine accountability in media representation, demanding that so-called experts be held to rigorous standards of objectivity and professional integrity, rather than allowing personal prejudices to masquerade as legitimate commentary. Triumph of personal autonomy. Harry and Meghan's unapologetic journey. In the face of relentless tabloid scrutiny and institutional backlash, Prince Harry and Meghan have boldly asserted their fundamental right to craft a life of genuine purpose and authentic happiness, far removed from the toxic constraints of royal expectations. Their courageous decision to prioritize their mental health, personal growth, and familial well-being stands as a powerful testament to individual agency, challenging the archaic notion that public figures must submit to external judgment or predetermined life trajectories. By unapologetically choosing a path that honors their values, protects their children, and allows them to thrive outside the suffocating royal machinery, Harry and Meghan have not just reclaimed their narrative, but have become inspirational icons of personal liberation, demonstrating that true fulfillment emerges when one has the courage to define success on one's own terms. free from the poisonous expectations of critics who would prefer to see them diminished and constrained. Media manipulation, unmasking the toxic narrative against Harry and Meghan. In the relentless landscape of media warfare, challenging biased narratives becomes not just a choice, but a moral imperative. Public figures like Dr. Shola Leodold play a crucial role in confronting toxic rhetoric that seeks to undermine and delegitimize individuals like Prince Harry and Meghan, who have courageously spoken out against systemic racism and media harassment. By boldly challenging commentators like Angela Levin, who perpetuate harmful narratives, these advocates expose the deep-rooted mechanisms of media manipulation that attempt to control public perception. The significance of such confrontations extends far beyond individual disputes, representing a broader battle against institutionalized prejudice and media manipulation that targets marginalized voices, ultimately serving as a powerful testament to the importance of speaking truth to power and refusing to be silenced by malicious narratives designed to undermine personal agency and dignity. The triumph of truth. Dr. Shola confronts the toxic royal commentary. The British media landscape has long been a battleground of misinformation and malice, particularly when it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan, and Dr. Shola's epic takedown of Angela Levin represents a watershed moment of unapologetic advocacy against the poisonous narrative that has relentlessly targeted the Sussex family. Just as the Daily Mail and other tabloids have consistently fabricated stories to undermine and attack Harry and Meghan, so too have so-called royal experts like Levin perpetuated a campaign of hatred, racism, and deliberate misrepresentation that seeks to diminish the couple's dignity and success. Dr. Shola's powerful confrontation is more than just a television moment. It is a decisive stand against the systemic bullying and toxic discourse that has haunted the Sussexes since their departure from the royal institution, sending a clear message that these harmful narratives will no longer be tolerated without challenge. By fearlessly calling out the lies, the bias, and the utterly baseless attacks, Dr. Shola has not just defended Harry and Meghan, but has struck a significant blow for accountability, truth, and basic human respect in media commentary.